Communication failure. Day number 7. Do you agree that communication failure is or the only reason behind misunderstanding? Is so obvious, right? And incidentally, I was reading a document by one of my mentor as to how one can uh, do effective communication. Communication is a leadership quality as well. Uh, but let us see the genesis of a communication. Uh, the other person, right or wrong, they have a viewpoint. So they need validation of that viewpoint, and your experience might be at other level. It is not no, not it doesn't have to be negative. But at times, what happens is your experience can be a bit higher, or over a period of time, it has grown to the next level, or so you think. Uh, all of us have that kind of, um, you can say, misunderstanding, or you can say it's a reality and nobody is right or wrong. Over a period of time, even our our mindset adjusts to so much of reality that either it has accommodated all those thought process, or it has grown to the next level. But nevertheless, the person in front, he is he is at a viewpoint which where we need to communicate, right? So that is when communication happens. If we are not at the same level, the communication is not going to happen. So first of all is uh, the what I think, what we think is the biggest thing, and can we put them into words is the second level. What we think, and a very small portion of it we can put into words. So there is a chance of getting misunderstood because we expect something, we expect the other person to understand, of course, but as it is, because of our inability to put our thoughts into words, we itself have given that chance that the other person is not understanding us. The third is how what I see to people. So when I see, it has to be in the perspective of what the other person is saying, and it has to be in concurrence with the other person, whatever he's saying. So here is an example. The other person, I have seen two of my colleagues were fighting over the same thing. They were saying this person needs to go and wait there. The other person was saying that person has to be there before any of us reaches. Now both of us were saying the same thing, but because they were not listening to each other and they were not looking at the perspective of the other person, they were fighting, in fact. So I was standing there, a third party. After some time, I asked them, what are you fighting for? Fighting about? The And I asked each one by one. I asked, so the first person said, we want Susan to be there before we reach. And the other person was saying, Susan has to be there before anybody reaches. So I was saying, essentially, both of you are saying the same thing. Why are you fighting then? But they couldn't take this because they were already into a fighting, and they were angry about each other. They were still fighting, and I was laughing at it. I was saying, and that is an example most of the time, because we don't give ourselves time to understand the other person, we are fighting even while saying the same thing. You agree with me on that? So, uh, so it is all about listening. Must. Listening is a must. First of all, give entire thought what the other person is saying. Even if you are confused, you can ask with some questions so that the other person can reply to you and clarify you about the point that is there both of you are discussing about. And slowly, even if you do not make your point all the time, the discussions are not so simple. Most of the time, discussions come from different perspectives, and those can be very complicated also. And so, please give some space to the other person what he is saying. Even if you are meaning very good to the other persons, even if you are supporting the other person, if angry, he will counteract you with something which will hurt you. At that time, if you are reactive, you will counter with something negative, even if you are meaning positive, right? So those are reactive brain. You know, our reactive brain is behind our brain head, and the executive brain or thinking or logical or reasonable brain is here. So um, don't allow the reactive brain to take over when there is some communication going on. And if you anticipate it to flare up after some time because the other person is visibly angry over something, so then give in for some time, because if you understand more, then it is you who has the most patience, have to have the most patience in the entire conversation. It is not always two, it can be more than two, three, four people in a conversation, in a discussion. And yes, and the more the people are, there will be more perspectives, and uh, it is required to be heard in a communication. So if you are genuinely interested in what they are saying, then nothing like it. Most of the time we get into reactive mode, start expressing our own opinion. There is no use of that if you are looking at a amicable conversation to happen. So communication is very essential, and how our mindset is even more important. So hope this helps you, and see you tomorrow with another perspective of leadership. Thank you.